Kloenk kicks, also known as PVC kicks, are taking over the scene by storm, and they feature some very unique sound design that hasn't been done before. Dual Damage and The Straikerz are really pushing this sound, and it sounds something like this. These kicks are categorized by a very monotone punch, followed by a heavy gated bass tail. Here's what we're making today. And I'll show you some unique methods to create these kicks from scratch. You can grab the template I'm making for free on our website. We also released an insane Kloenk and PVC kick pack that immediately gets your production to a professional level, and it will instantly help you with making these type of kicks. I even made an insane Kloenk punch generator, and it sounds like this. You can just spit out endless punches, but more on that later. So as you can imagine, we're first gonna make the punch 100% from scratch. I'll show you how you can create this rumble. It's really easy. And then as the third and final thing, I'm going to show you how you process these kicks. Let's start with the punch. I'm going to use Serum. Start with getting the randomization of the face down so it always plays the same note. LFO1 will resemble the shape of a punch. Put it on envelope. Take that down. I'm going to distort it with Diode 1. Then obviously we're going to use a compressor on multiband. But what I liked about some punches I made is that I put the compressor before the distortion. As you can hear, that gives you like that nice overdriven saw effect. So there will be a difference in the sound of your punch based on if you do it like this or this. Just know that you can do it like this or this, and you get different sounds. Filter, you want to use a flanger. We're going to use this one or the other one. You want to use the bass variant because when we're boosting the bass alongside these mid frequencies, that's where you get the nice sound. If we don't, you kind of, get a way too mid-heavy punch. But just make sure that this thing is around 50%. Resonance not too much. I also want to use LFO2 to create a very small pitch attack on the punch here. This is too much. Then I want to use an EQ, which I'm going to put in front of the distortion but not the compressor. So boost that. We will move around the bell curve later to find like different tones of that punch that you might like. And we're going to use a filter to use ring modulation. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of knobs that you can move at this point, but I'll show you some macros that you can assign. So for example, you can use the cutoff. You can open up oscillator B, take down the randomization and make sure it's the same octave, take down the level and FM A from B. Have it start here because you don't really hear it, and then have it open up a little bit. And we can go here and we can change the ring mod. You can also change the mix of this thing. Let's say we have this sound and you like it. And then we open the ring mod and we change the ring mod right here. The blend between the clean sound and the ring mod is really where you get that like crunchy Kloenk sound, And as you can hear, there's like harmonic places where the harmonics like boost each other, and that's where you really want to go. And it will depend on the note, it will depend on the FM level. Something you can do as well is add a chorus, just less depth, no delay. So it's very tight and a very clean chorus. And not do tune too much. And then you aim for the highs. You put it in front. Just take down the depth so you don't get that ringing and that release. Now you widen up the punch a little bit, which helps. Now I want to take this punch into the mixer. What I can do there is add obviously an inflator. I add a soft clipper just to get some power. And now you can go back in here and also add KHS transient shaper, which is free. Add attack, pump, and a high speed, so it's only on the punch. It helps you to get that in the sound. And then finally is what you can do is layer this on top of a normal punch. So for example, you take a mid intro bass, zoom in, remove everything except for that click, and put it in the same channel. And then you can take a punch bass. Luckily, we have a lot of those in the sample pack, but it's basically just the bass of a normal EDM kick. These are perfect. You put that underneath, get that together in a channel. So we have our click going into the punch, and then the click and punch, because they're in one channel, alongside the bass going in one channel, which is the final punch channel. Inflator again, soft clipping. Here's where you can also clean up the kick a little bit before everything. Now remember, when I went into the punch, you can also change this here, which is the tone, so you can also swoop the frequencies. So make sure that the click and the bass don't get too overwhelmed, otherwise you get like a very attacky, like, I don't like those punches. I like punches where there's a little bit more, you know, like this instead of... So about the patcher plugin we made, it's a generative plugin based on that preset that I just made in Serum, and I just linked a bunch of knobs and made it better. So if you can go to the map, you can see that I have a, you know, bass serum, I have a transient serum, I have the punch serum, all mapped to different things. We have a processing stage, and you can find that back into this plugin like this. And then the knobs that I made here are just tweakable in here. Like you can mix the bring mod down, the flanger, the length, transient. It's a nice starting sound for these Kloenk sounds. You can process them, get them into the playlist, and just make them better and do with it whatever you want. About the gated tail. A lot of people are struggling with this, but it's actually easier than you think that it is. So just find a mid-intro kick like this, get that into your mixer, and this is what you want to do. You add Valhalla Room or any reverb plugin that you like. 100% wet. No highs, like this. Just gonna add an inflator. We're gonna add a soft clipper to boost it. And we're also going to add distortion. So boost it. We're gonna add distortion. Like this, but now you wanna get an EQ in front of everything, and we're getting rid of that click. So it's just the rumble. Now, what you can hear is that it starts to get like a resonant rumble instead of like a clear sound. You know what I mean? So how you want to fix that is just get Pro Q, stereo placement side, and you want to put that afterwards. And you can see that there's a difference of putting it here instead of here or here. What I like to do is first cut the highs with this, distort it, and then get the sides like that, because it gets a little bit more high frequencies instead of... You know the difference? So that's what I'm talking about. Now, you want to take Edison, record what you just made, but record the full tail. Normalize it, grab it into the playlist. Now we have a very long reverb tail. We're definitely not using the beginning because it's very punch heavy. And now you can just grab this, put that into your mixer again. We're gonna use an inflator again. And we're gonna add a soft clipper, obviously, always soft clippers. I'm adding distortion again. You wanna prevent going into the extremely clipped sound. Not like this, you want to have those rumbles. Soft clipper is used to squash it more. And then we can add another Pro Q, side it again. Preferably add that after distortion too. And I like to add another reverb plugin on this. So I'm using Fruity Reverb, the normal one, not 2, but 1. It's a little bit nicer, I guess. No low cut, so we're not using the lows. Then we have a high cut that's doing nothing. We automate the mix of this reverb. Like this. And then we want to add a EQ and boost the highs a lot. So to clean that up, we can just render it again. Add that to your mixer, and you can see it gets better each time. Now, what we can do is maybe route that to this channel again. And now you can just loop this section and use this here to find something better. Make sure to declick it. Because I put it into this channel again, what I'm gonna do is just make sure that it's distorted a little bit less. As you can hear, you get these very nice rumbles already. This is a very muddy rumble, and very easy way to fix this is just take down the mids right here. Bam. That's how you get these very nice rumbles. Let's just render it out one more time. Boom. Now we're going to use this rumble tail that we have. Make sure that it blends nicely. And then the final part is obviously the processing of the kick. I can grab my pattern. You have to realize though, you need to render the kick, because if I keep playing it, you can hear it change a little bit. We did turn off the randomization of the phase. However, we have a multiband compressor that's fucking with the phase, and we also have the chorus, which is changing each time. Let's get the punch and the crunch into one channel. We're gonna add an inflator, just a basic processing. We're gonna add a soft clipper. And we're gonna add a Pro Q on the side, just to make sure. And then we want to make sure we get to work on the punch reverb. So here's our punch channel. Small recap. What is the punch channel? We have our click and we have our punch. These are in one channel. And we have our punch, the total thing, which is the click and the punch. And the punch bass going into one channel, which is the punch right here. And we have our crunch. And then we have the kick right here. So that's how easy it is. I'm going to duplicate the punch right here. And then we're going to route that into the final channel. This is going to be punch reverb. I really like to use Fruity Reverb instead of Reverb 2. Add that reverb all the way, no dry. I don't like the high cut, a little bit of a low cut. And we're going to add a little bit more decay. Add that limiter, gain, and open it up. I'm going to add an inflator. And we're going to muffle frequencies where we can. Now, to make it a little bit more dynamic, I'm adding a transient shaper again, attack, bump, high speed. And we can choose how muffled we want it. If you don't like what you made, take this. Now you can go into the punch. And you still have that serum preset. So to make sure that we don't get too much resonance, because it's a flanger, as you can hear, take LFO 1 and add that to the mix here as well. So it stops playing at the end of the kick. As I said, you need to render this out, but I don't want to waste too much time. So let's see what happens if we take our kick and we just duplicate the crunch. And then we have pattern 1 and we can do whatever we want. I feel like these kick rolls are a little bit more happy instead of like a melodic, minor. And then you can make a melody and it sounds like this. Obviously a meme can be done a lot better, but now you get the idea. The punch is loose from that tail and you can do whatever the fuck you want with the punch. I'm sure there's different ways to make these kicks, but I've just, looked around and tried and just did my own thing, and I feel like this works for me, so I hope it works for you. It's obviously a lot easier if you just take this Kloenk kickback. Obviously, if you're struggling, just take a punch and just take a crunch, and it immediately sounds really, really good. But the basic idea behind these Kloenk kicks is just a static saw wave or just something static, and just add a ring modulator or add a flanger, THS ring mod. Same idea, and you can use Fruity Flanger, but you can also use LFO tool. If you just use something instead of serum, you just take that basic sound. You can use the filter here, flanger, and you can use this again. So grab this template for free on our website. Don't forget to check this kickback. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.